Well, what's good, YouTube land? The Weird Collector here. It's almost Christmas time, and we're almost done with Siege. We've only really got two guys left, and hopefully everyone else will be able to find him soon. It's Astrotrain. Yeah, leader class Astrotrain. And here is the leader class box. I haven't talked about leader class since Shockwave, I think. Because Jetfire was bigger, most of the stuff. And I never got the Cybertron version of Optimus Prime, of the Galaxy Convoy, to make it easier. There's a picture of Astrotrain, being all dynamic and such. Do-do-do. 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 And do-do-do. There's the shots. And there's that one. So it looks like, well, Takara, or the anime finally won the color debate because Hasbro's actually given us a more screen accurate Astrotrain. The dark gray and the dark purple. And I've been playing with them for a week. And I really like them. Let's dive right in with the head sculpt. Awesome head sculpt. Give you as close a look as I can. Very nice helmet shape. I love his face though. He has such an emotional, such a good expression. Like his lips are pouted, his eyes are darted. Like he looks really pissed off. Like there's a lot of emotion in that face. I like it. I could complain about the overspray on the yellow paint, but it's a thing. Oh well. Your mileage may vary. Other than that, he does look very good. He is very Astrotrainy. Is that a word? Did I just make that a word, Astrotrainy? Here, I'll do a comparison right off the bat. Here he is with the Voyager Titan's Return Astrotrain. You can see just the leader class barely comes up to his shoulders. If I try and hold him flat, his head reaches the top of Astrotrain's shoulders. So a Voyager, bigger than a leader. Same character. Different color scheme as well. This is the more North American, I guess you could say. It's always been that way with Astrotrain, where the North American release, or the release outside of Japan, was this light gray and light purple, and not accurate to some portrayals of him, because some comic books and stuff have made him that color, but original G1 cartoon more leaning towards this color scheme. Other than that, for color wise, he's got a little bit of red and purple on his abdomen, and some purple on these bits, and purple on the wings. If I were to complain about anything, it would be really the lack of color, because he's predominantly this charcoal gray. But this color scheme is actually based off something. It's based off of a widely shared, but I'm reading this right off the wiki, an incorrectly colored screenshot from the episode Triple Takeover. That's where this color scheme is based off. I don't know why, but that's kind of hilarious. And apparently he's getting a re-release in Earthrise to do with a feature he has. But I won't be picking up the version of the Earthrise version because it's going to be the exact same toy. No differences whatsoever. If you pick up the only thing that's going to be different is the box. That box versus the Earthrise box. So I'm actually kind of glad they're doing this because it'll give more people an opportunity to get this toy because there aren't a lot of them. Like, this is the only one I found in my city so far. Like, there have been reports of them like in other cities in Canada, but so far where I live, only one I found. But after I found him, I stopped looking. So, although I do follow a fan page that talks about all the toy finds in Ottawa, and nobody else has found him. So, I don't think I have the only one, but you never know. Otherwise, he has a lot of detail on him. Like, you can like every inch of him has molding on it. There's way too much to go into, but like all along the arms, along the side of the arms. He does have the battle damage on his shins and feet. And he's got a bit of coloration right here with some yellow and red, but that's really not much because looking for straight on, you really can't see it. Coming to the back, he's got his triple rocket booster, and he's got a little bit of play with bits for train mode, but other than that, that's where all the purple goes. It's kind of hiding it. I like these not necessary, but also completely obligatory collarbone pieces. Because, like, you don't really need them to go this far next to his head, but they're so iconically Astrotrain. Because they're based off his G1, I think it's like his wheels on his G1 toy or character model, I think. It's just something that every Astrotrain has to do. But he does have hard points. I've got a hard point. I've got effect pieces. He's got here, one right there. I think this counts as one. A little bit, yeah. One there. I think that's it for. Oh well. You can actually. This is my favorite thing to do with the blast effects. Pretend they're lightsabers. But we'll do articulation now. His head is on a ball joint. A lot more range than the Titan's Return guy. I infinitely prefer this ball joint. And I'm glad he's not a Titan Master. Get a little bit side to side. You can get it at, like, ooh, popped his wings up. Actually, he looks like he's looking off into the distance. Like, it's a very good ball joint. I keep popping his wings off. Full swivel. Little bit of, pretty good up and down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Shoulders on a universal joint. Get that much outwards. Just due to the shape of his shoulder. But it's enough. It's a little bit limited, but it's more than enough. You can go all the way around until he hits his wings. You can pop the wings all the way up for transformation if you really desperately need that much backwards range. You do have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, very nice curl. Transformation joint on the wrist, but it does kind of soft lock into place, so you're not going to just put it backwards unless you put a little force into it. He has a waist joint, which that guy does not. This guy does not. I have no way to keep him on frame, in frame. But waist joint, infinitely better than not having a waist joint. Hips, go all the way forward. Oh, shut up, you. Phone, all the way forward. This. Huh. Apparently it's distraction time right now. This panel does go all the way up for transformation. Does snap into place there. Outwards all the way. Backwards can get a bit awkward because he's got this butt flap right here, or just the way his butt's designed. You can only go that far backwards. It's not very far, but the knee goes 90 degrees. You can kind of manipulate stuff to go all the way back like that. So he can look dynamic. He does have a thigh swivel, which kind of soft locks into place for some reason on this particular one. Like, this one really doesn't do it, but it actually does. Okay, they soft lock into place for some reason. As I mentioned, the knee. And you do have a sideways ankle tilt all the way to there if you so choose. Not sure how useful it's going to be, but it is an option. So, just like the other leaders in this line, they needed a gimmick to sell for the leader price point. That comes in the form of this. It's a box with weapons on it. Excuse me. So we'll talk about the weapons before we talk about the box itself. It comes with 4 guns and one, if I can get out, sort of missile launcher right there. So let's go over. You get one gun that looks like this, kind of minigun-esque, with I don't know what that is on the top there. It's definitely not a scope, because you're not going to be, or maybe it is. I'm not 100% sure. It does fit one of those, though. Also, it has a little peg inside, so you can do that. You can plug the effect into there. It's got 2 5mm peg holes on one on each side. Then you've got this gun, which I believe is supposed to be based off his original gun. It's kind of fairly generic, but like had a weird design. It's supposed to be shaped like this gun as well. Like, these are supposed to be based off the same gun. Actually, they are the same gun, because they're just, this one's got more plastic to it. And this one has the extra peg, but represented by that nub there. You've also got a pair of these guns, which just the only difference is the side peg is on, but they've got quite a bit of detail, and I think they work perfectly with his angry expression, because ooh, he fell over. Normally, Astrotrain's like characterized as a long-suffering guy who just takes everything he's given and transports all the Decepticons around. Here, you can look at. I kind of wish this had some paint, though. On the missiles right there, they could do for some paint. And on the back, it's very generic, but it's got a peg and a hole down there, and a side peg. So I think this is an Astrotrain that's fed up with all the shit he's taken over the years. And he's going full mental. So the idea is you put one gun in his hand, one gun in each hand, and then use the combat ports on his arms to plug one gun on each of his shoulders. And then this thing, according to the instructions, is supposed to go on his right there. That's a bit excessive, don't you think? Like, does he have enough guns? As I said, this is an Astrotrain that is sick and tired of all the bullshit, and is just willing to kill anyone who moves or breathes. Yeah, he has one more port though. If they gave him another weapon, and he's got a port on, well, right at each of his feet, like right there. You can also do with these guns is combine them into a super obligatory overcompensatron gun. No, that works. So take these two, human centipede them together, plug one of the thin guns on each side, or I guess in this case it'd be robo centipede, and then you take this thing and you plug it right in here, and there you have the what was it called? I'm trying to remember. Omni-Force Orbital Cannon. That's what this is called. Omni-Force Orbital Cannon. I think Astrotrain. uh, Astrotrain, you okay, buddy? I don't think you need. I mean, this is actually less gun barrels when you think about it, because you've got access to one less gun, but apparently this would form a stronger blast, I guess. Or I think, you can, not really. Well, this peg fits, it's not big enough to actually get a good grip. So, you have the Omni-Force orbital cannon. So there's that part, but we have to talk about the box. And this was my least favorite part of Shockwave. And it's kind of like, at least in robot mode, it's my least favorite part because it opens up for a different mode. But here's what you do for the super mode for Astrotrain. You take these two pieces, they come off, slide off, and then they look like this. And that peg goes into a hole on the bottom of each of his feet. So you give him, like, I don't know, they kind of look like tank tracks on the side. So maybe they're something. They give him a smidgen more height. He's almost the same height as the Voyager Astrotrain. But the thing about this part is you fold it back up. And this piece is actually, well, it's got triple pegs on it. And this piece is on a swivel joint. So you fold that down, then close the box back up, so to speak. And this is what you're supposed to do with it. This is like a, what's it called? Well, the piece itself is the turbo core derailleur, I believe. Uh-huh. Do. Well, it's a weapons rack, is its term in robot mode. And what you do with it, you do that. You do that. I think I remember people making, like on Twitter, making jokes to Death Stranding with this backpack setup, but this also gives you weapon storage, just similar to the way I had it before. Take everything off. Let's say there's how can I do this? Well, actually, the holes I was using are still on his are still an option. Just they're on his feet now, but that doesn't work. You can plug a gun each into there. There's also 2 ports, 3 peg holes inside, so you can do. Well, it actually. Yep. Okay. Although I don't think you can fit. I can try actually. You might want to do the Macross missile thing first. Eh. And they kind of just. Well, you can flop it open. I don't like it in robot mode. I really don't like it. In the other modes, it works. This one, not as much. Because, like, why wouldn't he be holding his guns? That's my biggest question. If he's in a robot mode, why does he need this? He has perfectly fine. Put it off to the side. If you're going to display him in robot mode, give him all his guns, but put it off to the side. So, here. We're going to take this apart, transform this a bit. I'll actually transform this afterwards, but. And we will get into the next mode, which. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Which will be spaceship mode. So let's start the transformation. Flip in the hands. Fold up these bits now, because if you forget, they do get in the way of what's going on down here in Legsville. So here's how I like to do it. Fold this up, rotate it, just so you can see what you're doing, and then there's a tab right in there that you tab the arm into. And then this piece hinges up, and it actually locks and snaps into place in robot mode, which is very nice. Mine was not snapped in right out of the box, and I thought there was an issue with it, but you just had to snap it in. And you have to fold the arm up so it looks like that, with the hinge facing outwards. That's the only way it's going to fit properly. Do the same thing on the other arm. Right like that. So then it does look like you can remove the chest piece, but to do that you have to come to the side and flip up one of these bits, which are kind of hard to get. That because there's not that much clearance. I might as well move the backpack up now. Take that and then flip this up in the route, and it folds out the tail fin, which is I like better than like the. I have a G1 Astrotrain somewhere. I can't find him, but I don't remember where I put him. Is the thing. I'm also way too close to the camera. Because the G1 toy, it's in his chest, but it just folds right out. So I like the part of hiding it away. And then these bits will actually tab right into the sides. And you have to keep the tail fin squished by the arms. Then you want to take the wings, fold them all the way back, and take the thruster and bring it over, and it's going to sort of just hook over these pits on his arms, and that's going to keep everything secure back there. Like that. So you have that. You have the back end looking like that. Everything's good. Then you take the feet and you unpeg them, because they actually tab in right into the side, and fold them all the way back till you hear that click, and they're right here. Do the same thing like that. Then you're going to want to bring these pieces, bring them all the way up. This they can be a bit of a pain. This one likes to like lock in a bit harder than the other one. But at this point, you have them here, and that's it for shuttle mode. actually very quick transformation. But here's his mostly gray shuttle mode. it's honestly, it's kind of the weakest of his modes, unfortunately. But it's still 100% Astrotrain. Like the only bit that's really a plane is the cockpit and the wings, tail fin, rocket boosters. But the cockpit coming out a big mass of like fuselage is so iconically Astrotrain. It's unfortunately. Can I see if I can get it at a better angle? Because it has to do with the knees and trying to. I don't know if that's better, but there. That's the best I can do. For some reason, these these panels are on hinges for reasons, but this axis of motion I don't understand. Like this one is for the two alt modes, but I don't really understand because it locks in place here. It locks in place here. Kind of what's the point of having this joint? I don't know. But it's also it's it's well, it's a shuttle with wheels on the sides. Not even in the right places where you would have landing gear. Like I didn't mention it, but like there's a Tamashi stage. Like there's a Tamashi stage port on his butt, and there's also like a regular 5mm port there as well. But it's a little awkward. I think the biggest thing that bugs me about this mode is how smooth the fuselage is, because it's one piece compared to how kind of rough the back of it looks. Like for some reason I thought it looked really skinny, but when you look at it all the way down, it looks very streamlined. It's just these pieces kind of make it look a bit fat. But the fact that the back end is made up of just arms and chest, and it looks kind of segmented and like and little rough, but that only looks bad. Like it doesn't look as good compared to the clean sort of two piece fuselage. Today's word of the day is fuselage. If you don't know what it means, get a dictionary. But other than that, it's what it does really well is hide the robot, because none of this looks like a robot folded up. Like nothing in the robot really is exposed. Everything moves a little bit. Like the only bit that could be a hint, well, it's not even a hint because it just looks like a. Shut up already! Leave me alone, phone. I'm trying to shoot a video. But like, this is probably his best mode for not looking like a robot. Like, because honestly, you like seeing the transformation, you know where everything is. But if you just saw this right away, I don't think you'd be able to tell immediately where the robot bits are. Now you could start fiddling with stuff and find them pretty quickly, but I think it does a good job of hiding. And the thing this does the best out of any of the other Astrotrains, I think, is hide the vehicle bits in the robot mode. Because like the classic toy was flawed with the train sleeves, the Shinkansen. I don't want to use that word, but the train bits on his arms kind of hindered the modes. And like this one, everything is hidden inside the robot mode, and I think it's hidden really well. But and then the back, you kind of have the exact same stuff with actually some edit bits. So let's talk weapons. Now this mode does not have a lot of ports for weapons. You have one on each wing, which is kind of makes sense for where guns would be. You have those two ports right there, which are pretty much just designed for this thing. And you also have two ports right there, which is not as many as you kind of expect. Like, the guns are a little bit all over the place, but I do like the placement of these guns on the wings. The wings do have hinges, so you can flap and flap like it's a bird, I guess. You don't need... Those are more for transformation into train mode, but... Now, let's talk this thing. This mode, I actually do like this thing. So, to get ready, you can do this. Yeah, it actually has two uses in this mode. So these bits also have joints, and what you do kind of is you can slide. No, not that way. They really don't tap together well when they don't, like, because they only have that kind of that part at the top right there. But no, that's the way they go. So my problem is obvious right off the bat. It doesn't fold down straight. It's really kind of awkward. But you can do this. You can put the plane right there, and you have sort of a I'm not sure what I was going for. You have just a landing platform, I guess. Or you can actually fold this up, get this right, and have a makeshift, is I think the word I was looking for. You have a launching pad, like legitimately how you launch space shuttles, which is kind of cool. Although the three pegs, the three peg connection is a lot more solid than I expected. And of course, this thing has the same ports it did before, so you can just you can defend the plane from incoming Autobot attack like this. There's no there's it's the Macross missile thing has kind of a not really place to go, because like that's the best I could do, and it's not really solid connection. But you have a whole micromass, like theoretically you have a whole playset here, like launch pad. Come on, so like to launch it to get back to Cybertron. And this is supposed to be something of like a weapons platform. Although the guns can't, like, you have to really hold this down so the guns can get over it. But that's kind of cool. I like that option. And this thing with these connections are the main reason why it's getting a re-release in Earthrise, because they're doing stuff with this. And somebody who's over here, whose review is going to be after this one. So, also, let me do a quick comparison with Yon Titan's Return. If I can just get him transformed real quickly. I didn't think this through. Oop. Oop. Yeah. Da, 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 da. There we go. Same general idea, way better execution. That's all I really need to say about that. This may not have landing gear, but it does the space shuttle mode way better than this thing does. Because there's still a whole robot visible right there. Now, let's get to the train. So we can start by folding those panels. This does involve a bit of dismantling. So you have to take the rocket booster backwards, like take it off, separate the arms a little bit, fold the chest plate back into place, fold the arms back in, and fold the rocket booster over. So now we're gonna take the wings, fold double hinge them forward, and collapse them around the arms. There's a little tab, a little slot right here that will actually go over a little red raised edge right there. Come to here, you can take these bits now and hinge them forward to cover up the gaps, like a plastic polyfiller, like this. And then the big change at the front comes with a, how do I show this? Flip, fold out the cow catcher, and from inside the shin, fold out the light. Then do the same thing. Fold, fold, fold. Close it back together, reclose the panels. If this will work, can I get everything nice and aligned, please? Why aren't you? What is going on here? Stop fighting me, Astrotrain, please. This video is already long. And there, you have one purple train. A very purple train. I really like this mode. It's my preferred of the two alt modes. It's amazing how much visual change can come from just a good old swap, like flip around and changing some kibble bits, but this mode works a hell of a lot better than the plain mode, because this has actually it looks like one solid piece. Like it's a solid train. And most importantly, it's a steam engine. Astrotrain's original train alt mode, not some of like the modern or futuristic trains more recent versions have tried to turn them into. It actually looks like Astrotrain's train. So, yep, there's his Decepticon insignias finally get a chance to live, breathe, and shine. Like the glorious badges of evil that they are. I really like the use of the feet as train detail, which is a really weird sentence. But like they actually kind of work there as like extra like bits to break up the sea of purple, but also they look like mechanical details. Not sure what they would be on a train, but you do also get a bit of black with the face of the train, if you will, and a little bit of silver, along with the cow catcher. Unfortunately, while the wheels work, the coupling rods do not work. But other than that, he also has his rocket booster still. Very nice. Biggest unfortunate, right there. His head is just right there, and his chest. But I'm willing to forgive it because I like this train. It's nice. It looks good. Like it's got rivets and detailing on it. It's also got a bit of black right there. So I'll do the comparison first. If I take this quickly. It does not want to. Hello, Astro buddy, come on. Why are you fighting me? Oh, come on. Make me look bad. Like, I know how to transform you. Thank you. Damn it. Do see you turn purple train. So, yeah, this thing. I much prefer this version. Even though this is a hell of a lot longer, it's basically a stick. But this thing can get longer. Because we have to talk about accessories. This thing! Take off all the weapons, fold it back up, and it is actually a tender, a Cybertronian version. There's, for some reason, I just noticed that on the back. Anything else? Well, you can plug the effect parts into all the 5mm ports. But I guess you kind of want to look like it's rocketing forward, but it plugs in as an actual cold chamber with either one wheel or two. Nope, it's definitely on this side, but with one kind of not good. Oh, two wheels up here. But, and you can actually, because there are no, well, there are, but there's only one. I didn't even notice you actually have a peg handle right there. You have a port right there and a port right there. But other than that, you can't really use what looks like a port on. Yeah, you can't use that. So this is where all the weapons go in the train mode. And it's just glorious. Like that. That kind of almost puts him at the same length as Titan's Return Astro Boy, but forgot a step. Yeah. Not quite, but this thing, it was good at the time. It hasn't aged well. Because it feels thin and the transformation isn't really that good. And like I don't even know what it's going for in either alt mode. And like while Astrotrain has always been about flaps, I think this guy handles it a lot better. And you can also, this is where like that gets to shine, I guess. This part. You can put, let's say, a weapon effect piece in every single one of his guns barrels, so they're all firing. Though you can't really do that there. It gets kind of awkward, but you can do that. I don't know how well you can see that. Final thoughts, Astrotrain. Here's my biggest issue. Don't spend too much for him. He's not worth the leader price point, but he's also a really good toy. If he's worth it to you, buy him. Go ahead. But that's the issue. He's sold for leader class dollar when he's a Voyager and a kind of tiny Voyager at that, but with an extra thing. Now, I like having a cold chamber. All the weapons are really fun. They come together. I kind of wish they were more than just generic black plastic, but brings me back to in mind of Whirl. But like the robot mode, I like it a lot. It's better than this guy. That's the thing. This guy kind of feels like a prototype, like they were trying to work their way to solve, like they were trying to solve all the problems with Astrotrain, and this guy was still working his way, chugging his way towards what eventually became this guy. Now, I do kind of hope we see him repainted in this color scheme, just a little bit, or maybe even the all white of like the NASA color scheme, because I kind of just want to see him in other colors, whether I pick them up or not. But I like all three of his modes. His transformations are fun and smooth, and like there are only little things that kind of annoy me, like these pieces right here tend to like bump in the way and there's not enough clearance, or I have to really tuck in the wings to get them to lock in properly. But other than that, I really think this is a guy that, like, he's definitely the best Astrotrain Hasbro has made. Now, there are third-party Astrotrains if you want to go down that route, but, like, for retail, right on the shelf, he's a really good Astrotrain. And that's why I think I mentioned Spinister was going to be the sleeper hit, because you might, like, everyone's going to be at least somewhat familiar with Astrotrain, and of all this wave, look at them. I see them right over here. Like, people probably skip on Crosshairs because he's he's the easiest to skip because he's just a repaint with a new head. And Ape Face, as I mentioned a long time ago, he's just got a silly name. Like, he makes just the name alone kind of make kids laugh. Like, Ape Face, and like he's a robot that turns into a monkey and a jet. But this guy, he's probably the most iconic G1 character of the wave, so therefore he's going to probably have more eyes looking for him. But I show you. Look, there's so much detail on the train. Like not sure what everything is, but I'm sure there are windows somewhere and doors somewhere. But it's a Cybertronian. It doesn't even look like it's a Cybertronian version of a steam engine. It just looks like a steam engine with a rocket booster. But I've been rambling for 50 minutes. Highly recommended. If you have a chance, don't skip over him. He's the best Astrotrain the Hasbro's put out so far, with help from Takara. But thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. It's almost Christmas. I'm recording this on the 21st of December, and it should go up the same day. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays to you and yours, but also keep it weird. Bye.